All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome back, everyone, to another Deep Dive Explainer. Today, we are unlocking what is honestly one of the most profound, hidden mechanics of the universe ever recorded in mystical literature. We're going to explore the ancient Sephirotic architecture behind Joseph's greatest secret. It's a concept the Zohar reveals as the absolute ultimate state of cosmic unity. So, if you're a focused learner and you're looking to understand exactly how the universe strips away all its complex layers to achieve absolute singularity between the divine and Israel, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to examine this through historical, cosmic, and even technological lenses today. It's going to be a fascinating ride, so let's get started.
Now, I really want you to picture this scene in your mind's eye, like in stunning cinematic 4K. We are standing in the grand Egyptian palace. Joseph, who is literally the most powerful man in the world next to Pharaoh, is about to reveal his true identity to his brothers. But right before he does that, what happens? He clears the room. He dismisses every single Egyptian attendant, every royal guard, every translator. Imagine those massive, heavy, ornate doors of the chamber slowly closing shut. Absolute, heavy silence fills this massive stone room. The Zohar, in Volume 3, page 208b, anchors on this exact critical phrase, Velo amad ishito, and no man stood with him. But as you'll see, the Zohar isn't just giving us a historical play-by-play here. It's actually describing a fundamental law of cosmic physics.
Notice how our perspective fundamentally shifts here from the historical micro-event to a massive macro-cosmic reality. On one hand, we have the physical event, Joseph clearing a palace chamber. But on the deeper level, we are looking at a cosmic reality. In the Sephirotic system architecture, Joseph represents the Sephirot of Yesod, the foundation, the great cosmic funnel of energy. So when Joseph clears that room, it's not just a dramatic flare, it is a kernel-level event. Yesod is actively clearing out the klipot. These are the external forces, the intermediaries, the shells that normally mediate between the divine and the physical worlds. Because to reveal the ultimate truth, the system simply cannot have any middlemen. Zero.
So what is this actually boiled down to? Well, it's really about two competing concepts, Pnimiyut and Chitzoniyut. Pnimiyut is the inner, unfiltered, pure core of reality. Chitzoniyut, on the other hand, represents the external forces, or those outer systems and klipot we just mentioned. At the deepest, most absolute moment of divine union, no Chitzoniyut can be present. None whatsoever. No other systems, no foreign nations, no layers, no intermediaries. When Yosef reveals himself, he is establishing a state of pure Pnimiyut. It is an unadulterated, direct bond. We're talking about the raw, essential connection between the divine and Israel with absolutely nothing in between them.
And this is where we can perfectly apply a cosmic engineering framework to understand it. Think of the universe as this massive, insanely complex operating system. Normally, there are countless background processes running at all times. Angels, ministers, external nations, complex natural laws. But what happens in this moment is that the universe enters direct root access mode. Step 1, background processes, totally disabled. Step 2, cosmic firewalls, dropped completely. Step 3, a pure, unmediated connection is established directly between the core server, the divine, and the primary node, which is Israel. It's a complete and total bypass of the standard everyday operating system.
Mapping this out exhaustively, we can actually see the exact mechanics at play here. At the top of the structure, Tiferet acts as the core server. This represents the divine source that initiates this absolute unified connection. Down at the bottom, we have Malchut, the primary node, which represents Israel actively receiving this isolated unity. But the real magic, the actual execution, happens right in the middle with Yesod, represented by Joseph. Yesod's system role is essentially the access protocol. By revealing himself and giving the command to clear the room, Yesod executes a protocol that wipes out all external channels and intermediaries. He perfectly bridges Tiferet and Malchut without any signal degradation or outside interference.
This actually brings us directly to a fascinating and honestly pretty stringent point made by the Zohar. Back in Volume 3, 208b, it quotes the verse, "For the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp." The Zohar points out that for the divine presence to walk freely and intimately within the camp, that camp must be absolutely holy and completely isolated. It's like, well, you can't have a deep, soul-bearing conversation in a crowded, noisy room, right? The ultimate connection demands total exclusivity. If there is any external interference, any impurity, or any other system present at all, the divine presence withdraws. The space must be fully cleared, exactly like Joseph's chamber. To put it in gaming terms, which I literally think is the best way to visualize this, think of the end of days as the final boss level of a massive RPG. What happens right before the ultimate revelation? All the background NPCs just despawn. The distracting side quests and external enemy mobs completely vanish from the map. All those other ruling systems and complex dominions are hard disabled by the game engine itself. The game basically locks you into a direct, isolated one-on-one encounter. There are no distractions left. The screen goes quiet, the heavy doors lock behind you, and the ultimate truth of the game is finally unlocked.
Now, mapping this onto the grand cosmic timeline of history, we see a very clear, deliberate progression. We start in the first era, which is the current state of history we live in. It's defined by multiplicity. We have mixed external forces, 70 nations, highly diverse natural laws, and incredibly complex systems governing our day-to-day reality. But as we move forward into the Messianic era, these foreign dominions and external klipot actually begin to dissolve. Their power structures break down, and then finally we reach ultimate redemption. This is the magnificent, final point where all complex systems collapse entirely into a singularity. It's that permanent root access mode we were talking about earlier. And the mystical text, like the Pardes Ramanim, describe this shift through these absolutely incredible color dynamics. Right now, the divine energy filters through reality almost like a prism, manifesting as incredibly diverse, fragmented colors, reds for judgment, greens, blues for mercy, and that multiplicity is totally required for our complex world to function. But in the state of ultimate union, watch what happens. Those diverse colors completely dissolve. They merge back together into a singular, pure, blinding white light of absolute unity and mercy. All the fragmented, scattered pieces of reality are just swallowed up by this overwhelming, unified brilliance.
There is one verse, just one, that flawlessly captures this eschatological singularity. Bayom hahu yihye Hashem echad ushmo echad. In that day, God will be one, and his name, one. Throughout all the sources, this verse is pointed to as the absolute ultimate conclusion of the entire Sephirotic process. It is the exact moment all multiplicity is finally, permanently eliminated. There is no longer any gap between the divine essence and the way the divine is perceived in the world. The inner reality and the outer reality become entirely identical.
Which brings us to the profound underlying revelation of the number 1. It's really not just a mathematical digit here. It is the ultimate destination of all cosmic engineering. The entire highly complex 10 Sephirotic structure, with all of its varied nodes, diverse channels, and intricate balances, ultimately integrates into this singular expression of pure unity. 1. That's it. No secondary powers, no intermediaries, no external forces. Just as Joseph stood as one with his brothers without a single Egyptian in the room, the universe collapses all of its branching, complicated paths into this single, unified truth.
So, let's bring this whole narrative back to that 4K cinematic vision we started with. Imagine the culmination of all history not as some loud, chaotic, destructive event, but as an experience of breathtaking, completely isolated union. The ultimate face-to-face, a direct, undisturbed panim el panim encounter between the divine and Israel. Every single other force in the universe has withdrawn. The worlds have completely emptied out. All that remains is an environment surrounded by infinite light and absolute heavy stillness. The ultimate secret, when you really get down to it, is simply being completely alone with the source of all existence.
So, I'll leave you with this ultimate question to ponder. In our own lives, right now, what background processes and external systems do we personally need to shut down to experience even a fraction of that pure, root-level unity today? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.